Welcome to Great Guitarist of the Rock Era. From the streets of Tijuana to the world's biggest stages, Carlos Santana has enchanted millions with its soul-stirring guitar. This is the legendary journey of Carlos Santana, the man who turned the guitar into a voice of magic. Before we get started, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more stories. Carlos Humberto Santana Barragan was born July 20th, 1947 in Atlan de Navarro, Jalisco, Mexico. His father, a mariachi musician, introduced him to the violin at age 5 and the guitar at age 8. After moving to Tijuana, Carlos honed his skills by listening to blues, rock and roll, and traditional Mexican music. His unique blend of these genres would later become his signature sound. His influences include B.B. King, Javier Batiz, Mike Bloomfield, John Lee Hooker, and Gabor Szabo. Carlos's rock and roll career started in Tijuana's Parque Ciente Guerrero. His mother took him to see the TJs, the pioneer rock and roll band from the city. At the age of 12, Carlos became a roadie, and eventually he would join them as bass player. He later left so he could play guitar in another band. The Santanas then moved to San Francisco, where his father had steady work. In October 1966, Santana started the Santana Blues Band. By 1968, the band had begun to incorporate different types of influences into their electric blues. Manager Bill Graham got them on the bill for Woodstock Festival before their first album was even released. Their performance at Woodstock in 1969 was nothing short of legendary. Santana's fiery guitar solos and the band's Latin-infused rock captivated the audience and helped catapult them to fame. Their self-titled debut album, Santana, would be released on August 22nd, 1969, just days after their Woodstock performance. It featured Jingo, Evil Ways, and Soul Sacrifice. 1970 would see the release of Abraxas, with covers of Oye Como Va and Black Magic Woman. The song showcased Santana's virtuoso guitar playing and innovative fusion of rock, blues, and Latin music. His music wasn't just about technical skill, it was about passion, spirituality, and a deep connection to the human experience. 1971's Santana 3 would see the addition of young phenom Neil Schon on guitar and would include No One to Depend On and Everybody's Everything. Greg Raleigh and other band members wanted to emphasize the hard rock sound, which was a key component in the band from the start. Santana, however, was increasingly interested in moving beyond blues and rock and wanted more jazzy, ethereal elements in the music. Cliques formed, and the band started to disintegrate. Along with musical differences, drug use became a problem, and Santana was deeply worried that it was affecting the band's performance. In January 1972, Santana, Sean, and others joined former Band of Gypsys drummer Buddy Miles for a concert at Hawaii's Diamond Head Crater, which was recorded for the album Carlos Santana and Buddy Miles Live. In early 1972, Santana started working on their fourth album, Caravanserai. During the studio sessions, Carlos brought in other musicians. With the influx of new players in the studio, Greg Raleigh and Neil Schon decided to leave after the completion of the album, even though both contributed to the sessions. In 1972, Santana became interested in Mahavishnu Orchestra and guitarist John McLaughlin. Santana and McLaughlin recorded an album together, Love, Devotion, Surrender, in 1973. The album Welcome was released in November of 1973. Shows from the July 3rd and 4th, 1973 were recorded for the 1974 live fusion album Lotus. A collaboration with John Coltrane's widow, Alice Coltrane, Illuminations, followed in 1974. The album delved into avant-garde, esoteric free jazz, Eastern Indian, and classical influences. Santana would release Borboleta in 1974. Santana formed yet another version of Santana and released the 1976 album Amigos, which featured the songs Dance Sister Dance and Let It Shine. It had a strong funk and Latin sound. Festival would be released in January of 1977. Most notable of the band's commercial efforts of this era was a version of the 1960s Zombies hit, She's Not There, on the 1977 double album Moonflower. Santana recorded 2 solo projects, Oneness, Silver Dreams, Golden Reality in 1979, and The Swing of Delight in 1980, which featured Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. More radio-friendly singles followed from Santana and the band, Winning in 1981 from Z-Bop and Hold On in 1982 from the album Shango reached the top 20. 1983's Havana Moon revisited Santana's early musical influences with Bo Diddley's Who Do You Love and Chuck Berry's Havana Moon. The band Santana returned in 1985 with a new album, Beyond Appearances, and 2 years later with Freedom. Santana would release another solo record, Blues for Salvador, in 1987. Santana kicked off the 90s with a new album, Spirits Dancing in the Flesh, in 1990. This was followed by Milagro in 1992, a live album, Sacred Fire, in 1993, and Brothers, a collaboration with his brother George and nephew Carlos Hernandez in 1994. I love this Brothers album. 1999's Supernatural, which included collaborations with Rob Thomas, Everlast, Eric Clapton, Lauryn Hill, CeeLo Green, Dave Matthews, and others. This album was a monster hit and won him numerous Grammys. In 2002, Santana released Shaman, revisiting the Supernatural format of guest artists, including Citizen Cope, P.O.D., and Seal. Santana's 2005 album, All That I Am, again consists primarily of collaborations with other artists, including Steven Tyler, Kirk Hammett, Sean Paul, and Joss Stone. Santana is featured as a playable character in the video game Guitar Hero 5. A live recording of the song No One to Depend On is included in the game, which was released on September 1st, 2009. In 2010, he would release Guitar Heaven, a covers album. In 2012, Santana released an album, Shapeshifter, consisting of mostly instrumental tracks. In May of 2014, his first ever Spanish language only album, Corazon, was released. In 2016, Carlos reunited with past Santana band members Greg Raleigh, Michael Carabello, Michael Shreve, and Neil Sean, releasing the album Santana 4 and embarking with the band on a brief tour. A live album and DVD titled Live at the House of Blues, Las Vegas, was released from this tour. In 2017, Santana collaborated with the Isley Brothers to release the album The Power of Peace on July 28, 2017. Africa Speaks was released in 2019. In October of 2019, Santana was featured on the rapper Tyga's song Mamacita. In August 2021, Santana signed a new global record deal with BMG to release his new full-length studio album, Blessings and Miracles. In the same month, he performed in New York's Central Park along with Rob Thomas and Wyclef. Carlos Santana's influence extends far beyond his own recordings. He's inspired countless musicians across various genres. His commitment to social causes and spirituality has made him a beacon of hope and positivity. From his Santana Blues Foundation through its support for education and children's health. Carlos has used his platform to make a difference. Over 6 decades, Carlos Santana has remained a true guitar hero, blending genres and breaking barriers with every note. His music continues to inspire, heal, and bring people together. Music is the divine way to tell beautiful, poetic things to the heart. It's a blessing to be able to share this gift with the world, he says. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing stories from the world of guitar. And as always, keep rocking.